Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and it's time for another installment. And this time we're going to be looking at 12 attacking kingside patterns. All right, the first one we're going to be going over is Anastasia's checkmate. Well, here we go. In this position right now, White went ahead and played the very nice sacrifice of Bishop c7, a clearance sacrifice. Well, by all means, Black is actually winning in this position. Now, Black missed the idea and went ahead and played Queen takes on c7, and now it is forced checkmate in 2 moves. Feel free to push pause if you want to, or enjoy the show. Here, White actually gets to play Queen takes on h7 check, King takes, and Rook to h4 for check and mate. Here you see the Knight does a beautiful job by taking the escape squares. The pawn was guarding this king's, so of course the queen sacrifice is one that many people will miss, and of course the rook comes over to take up the file. Beautiful checkmate. All right, on to the next one. Here we go. We're going to do looking at the Arabian mate now. The Arabian mate is done with the knight and the rook. Unfortunately, in this game, White played knight f6 here and lost the game after, well, a series of nice checks here. Well, can you find the move here to get a forced checkmate with the knight and the rook? It's checkmate in 3. All right, here we go. What does White play here? Remember, every move should be a check. So, Rook to g8 check gets played here. Well, the king has no other option but to take. And then now we're going to go ahead and bring that knight in, f6 check. King to h8, and here is the Arabian mate, rook to h7. Here you see that the king cannot take the rook because the knight guards it, and we can't go to g8 because, again, the knight guards that square, and of course the rook is taking up the rank. Oof, another beautiful checkmate here. Let's go on to the next one. Here we have Boden's checkmate. Here White has just played knight takes on e5, and unfortunately for them, it is now checkmate in 2 here. And this was called Boden's checkmate because obviously Boden was the one who first did this one. It's also known as a crisscross checkmate. This one is a little tricky if you haven't seen it. All right, hopefully you tried to look at it. Look at the forced moves. Here you see that the move here was queen to c3 check. Okay, we have to take here as the bishop is doing a great job by controlling all these squares. Pawn takes, and hopefully now you see the move. Here it's bishop to a3 for check and mate. Here the dark square bishop takes it up, and then of course the light square bishop takes up the other one. That's why it's again also known as the crisscross checkmate. All right, on to our next one. We got Philidor's Legacy, one of my favorites. At this point, it is now forced checkmate in, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 moves here. And here with Philidor's checkmate, it is usually done with just a queen and a knight. Here we have a few extra pieces here. And well, let's take a look at it. Here we're going to go ahead and play knight to f2 check. And the rook is forced to take. If they don't do it, then we get Philidor's checkmate. So let's go and take a look about Philidor's checkmate real quick. And that's if White plays king to g1 here. Well, now it's forced checkmate with the queen and knight. I do encourage you to push pause and try to figure this one out, as it is a beautiful one. I will give you a hint. It does end with Smothers mate. All right. Hopefully you push pause and try to figure it out. Here we're going to go ahead and play knight h3 double check by the queen and the knight. And the king has only one move. They have to go to h1. And then here, this is the reason why we do knight to h3 check and not knight to g4 check. The queen goes to g1 check here, and notice the king cannot take because the knight is protecting, so the rook has to take. And now we finish up with knight to f2 for check and mate. A beautiful Philidor's checkmate. I think when you start to realize the beauty of chess is probably whenever you start looking at these checkmate patterns and see how intricate they can be. All right, let's go on to the next one. This one is Domino's checkmate, and this one's a very easy idea. This is a one where you just use your pawn and the queen to get checkmate. So here f6 got played. Here Black went ahead and just gave up and played pawn takes on f3, and now we simply play queen takes on g7. I bet a lot of people have seen this one. They just didn't know the name of it, which is Domino's checkmate. All right, on to the next one. Here we have Blackburn's mate. And this is another beautiful one here. Again, push pause here. I guarantee you'll like this one. See if you can figure it out. All right, hopefully you tried to figure it out. In this one, well, how many people were able to figure out? You see that these bishops are definitely on the way over here. And here you see the beautiful idea of queen takes on h5. And wait a second, can't the pawn just take back? Here you're threatening checkmate on h8. You're threatening checkmate on h7. Here, if the pawn takes, well, you get the beautiful checkmate with bishop to h7, and now you see that the knight guards it and the bishops do a great job. Another crisscross checkmate or a Boden-looking mate here, but this one's done with a kingside castle. All right, on to the next one. Here we're getting Morphy's mate, which is a checkmate in the middle of the board, also known as the Opera House checkmate. And, well, White to move and get forced checkmate here. Here, bishop took on d7 check. Knight takes on d7, and here we're getting that Opera House mate or Morphy's mate. What do you play here? Here we get the beautiful and stunning sacrifice of queen to b8 check. Okay, you look at this and you're saying, well, I can't move the king anywhere, so I have to take with my knight. Why would this happen? Because with the last two pieces here, the rook can go down here for check and mate. Oof, what a beautiful move here. All right, on to the next one. Let's go for Pillsbury's mate. And here we have another forced checkmate here. Here at this point, you can see that white has really good pressure on the g7 pawn. So black went ahead and played knight to e8 here. And here it was a forced checkmate in 5 moves. But here, this is not the Philidor's mate. We're going to go ahead and play queen takes g7, knight takes g7, rook takes g7, and king to h8. Now here you do have to play the right move. And this is where Pillsbury's mate comes from. So what is it going to be? Well, did you push pause? You try to figure it out? Here we actually get to play the stunning rook to g8 check. We do this because we need access because the bishop is going to be for discovery. Look at that, the knight is attacking the bishop. So it's a double check here, so there's no time to take over here. We have to take the rook. Well, king takes rook, and now simple chess. Rook to g1 check, and we all did this for that one little tempo. And of course, black has nothing better than to go ahead and block. And of course, we're just going to take on g5 for Pillsbury's mate. All right, on to the next one. Here we got Greco's mate. And here, Greco's mate is a very nice one. And, well, white was doing a very good job in this position. It's actually pretty, going back and forth right here. Knight e4 was played to attack the queen. The queen went ahead and went to e5, and would you believe it or not, it is forced checkmate here, black to move. Another very basic checkmate that you should know. All right, hopefully you push pause, try to figure this one out. Here in Greco's mate, you see that the king is very much not doing well. Even in his own castle, he cannot move around. So here the idea is to open up the H file so that we can attack the king. So remember, look for forced moves, checks, captures, and threats. What do you play here? Here you get knight g3 check, and the game is over. Here you see that the pawn has to take, and here we're going to go ahead and play queen to h6 check. Again, the king cannot go to g1 because the bishop, and the king cannot run forward. Here the queen blocks, queen to h5, and that's check and mate. All right, on to the next one. This one is Anderson's checkmate. Another beautiful game over here. At this point, it was white to move. Man, I'm always going to encourage you, push pause and try to see if you can figure these out. Remember, if it ain't check, it ain't right. All right, this was a forced checkmate in 5 moves. It took me a second to figure this one out. Anderson's mate is actually when you get a rook over to h8 and the pawn is protecting. There's your tip. Did you get it? Here we go. Remember, every move should be a check. Queen takes on h7 check. King takes. f6 check. King g8. Notice that even if you try to play something like queen takes on d3, rook h3 check, king g8, rook to h8's mate. So here after f6, king to g8, bishop to h7 check. Hopefully no one here was playing rook h3, as this gives time for black to play rook takes on f6 and have an escape square with the f7 square. So here every move must be a check. Bishop to h7 check, king has to take, rook h3 check, king g8, and after rook h8, it is check and mate. And it's not surprising that he was dubbed the name of the checkmate pattern of Anderson's mate here. All right, here we go. Only 2 more left. We have Lolly's checkmate pattern. Here, this is one that will come up quite a bit, especially when you push your F pawn. I always like to call it the lollipop checkmate just because it reminds me of it. And I work with kids, so, well, it's going to be easy for them to remember this one. Here it is forced checkmate in 5 moves. And here, the checkmate pattern has not begun just yet. Here, we're going to go ahead and play rook takes, queen takes, rook takes, and king to g8. Here, well, if we go ahead and take, it's going to be forced checkmate. But here is where the lollipop checkmate comes from. Here, we get a forced checkmate in 3 moves. Can you figure it out? All right, hopefully you tried to make each move a check. Rook to h8 check, king takes, queen h6 check, and the idea is to get the queen to g7. Remember, every move should be a check, or else, black will harass you with all these checks over here. Here, king g8 got played, and queen g7 for check and mate. Here, the checkmate pattern of lollipop's checkmate. Or like I said, I like to call it lollipop checkmate. All right, our last one here is going to be Reddy's mate. I've seen a game with Lasker doing this also. And here, well, it was white to move. They went ahead and just castle queenside. Black said, well, is this just a free piece? And here, he did not take with the queen, as queen takes will fall for the simple rook to e1. But he said, you know what? I can take with my knight here, and even if you do try to pin me, I'll just bring a pawn up. Well, unfortunately for Reddy's opponent, which was Tarkover, he's going to go ahead and get checkmated here. All right, white to move. Can you figure out the checkmate? I forced checkmate in 3 moves here. Remember, forced moves. Queen to d8 check got played. King takes on d8, and here's the move. Bishop to g5 double check. Okay, king c7. And now bishop to d8 for check and mate. And that's going to be it for this one. This is a beautiful checkmate covering all the escape squares on b6, and every move is going to be a check. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Please do comment below how many of these checkmates do you know. These are all basic checkmate patterns, so I am curious, how many did you know before you started watching this video? Alright guys, we'll see you in the next video.